Hello and welcome back to aclearandobviouspodcast. As always, I'm your host, Archie Corbett, and I'm joined by Sam Cole. Sam, how are you?
I'm great, thank you, Archie. How are you?
Well, I would be good, right? We're back with a full English. But before we get into a full English, I must apologise because we've just finished the podcast, actually. But the recording on my laptop has failed. So this is the last you will see of me, this podcast. Yeah. You will just see Sam and a picture of me looking like a Wally. Yeah. Because my recording has failed on Zoom. Yeah. So this is the last you'll see of me, but still enjoy full English. Yeah. The next one, I promise, will be okay. This is the last we'll have of this. But yeah, instead of re-recording the whole thing, this is the last you'll see of me. You'll see this man's beautiful face for the rest of it.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
But yeah, very, very many apologies. But yeah, let's get straight into it.
Yeah, who won't delete the footage next week?
Yes, that is right. We are back again. We're going to be going through the Premier League games, as I mentioned. So let's just get straight into it, shall we, Sam?
Do it.
So the first Premier League game of this Saturday was Brighton. They hosted Man United, and that wasn't without controversy. Brighton fell 3-2 to Man United. What did you make of this game? I want to get your thoughts pretty early doors on this one.
It was pretty crazy, to be fair. And I thought another game where Brighton were very unfortunate in the result, where they should have definitely got something from the game. I thought United were disappointing. The fact that they were 2-1 up and United parked the bus against Brighton. I'm not really sure about that. It didn't even work because Brighton equalised in the 93rd minute, but then, some
mayhem ensues.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure about it.
Well, legally it was right.
Yeah.
So by the law, what happened at the end of that game was correct. You want to run us through what happened?
Yeah. So basically, at the end of the game, Bruno Fernandes scored a penalty, but before that, a decision was given. So I don't remember who headed the ball towards goal.
Maguire, I think.
Maguire, yeah, and it hit Maupay's hand.
It was a handball.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Marsh headed it off the line, and the ref blew for full time. And but then he went to check. VAR was like, "It's handball, mate," and they were like, went to check it, and gave a penalty. After the full time whistle was blown. I know that is legal,
yeah,
but I'm not sure it should be legal.
No, I don't think that should be. That the full time whistle, that's the game.
That is the game done.
So yeah, I do feel very sorry for Brighton fans in this instance, but in line with the law, it is correct because the law states that VAR can go back and check that despite the game being over. Which I'm really, I'm a little bit on the fence about. I don't think it's necessarily something that's going to be coming into play too often, but now it has come into play. We've got to realise that this rule's a bit dodgy, and I'm really not. I'm not a fan of it. It just doesn't feel right. After the full-time whistle's gone, I mean, the amount of news outlets are like, oh yeah, the game's finished too. Oh no, there is a penalty. So it's like the game's already finished. There's already been a scoreline. I do feel sorry for Brighton. They broke the record for the hitting the post. Hitting the woodwork the most times in one game. 5 times. But half of those at least were Trossard. Yeah, poor bloke. He had all the strengths, to be fair.
He had a fantastic game. He was very unlucky not to get a hat trick.
Yeah, he really was. March was excellent all game, and United struggled. If I'm totally honest, Brighton were the dominant team. Yeah. Brighton showed again why they are now one of the best teams in the league. Kicking on up into those mid-table positions, I think, because they're an excellent side when they get going. They've just been very unfortunate in these few opening weeks. But yeah, big up Brighton. Just a shame that VAR had to come into play and that rule's a thing.
Yeah, unfortunate really. But I think Brighton will be the Southampton under Poch a few years ago. I think that will be, they're going to make a maybe not a European push, but top half. I think Brighton. They just look very good.
They really do, yeah. No. So top half is certainly in the range of possibility if they can start winning these games. They're unlucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on to the second game of the Saturday. Crystal Palace hosted Everton. Both high-flying teams coming into this game, so it's always going to be an entertaining encounter. And Everton won 2-1 again, showing that under Ancelotti they are a very, very good team and a very tricky outfit to beat. This is completely off topic, but on Twitter, I saw a Bournemouth fan reply in an Everton thread calling Everton a small club, and he called Ancelotti an Italian washed-up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, it's not relevant at all. I just figured I'd share that with you because it's just a little bit weird and it doesn't really make any sense, especially for a Bournemouth fan. But anyway, let's get into the game. Everton won 2-1. They keep up their unbeaten run starting off the season. and they've gone playing very good football. I don't think Palace were terrible in this game. What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is a game a few years ago Everton would have drawn or lost. They're so much improved. I mean, of course, Calvert-Lewin had to get on the score sheet. Richarlison scoring penalty with a Kyoto goal in between that. But yeah, I don't think it was probably Palace's worst performance yet this season. But 2-1 to such a high-flying Everton isn't a bad result.
No.
I mean, Eze, I'm pretty sure he started. It's good to see him get some game time. And yeah, I think Palace will be fine. I know early on in the season, before the season, sorry, I tipped them to struggle, but I don't know. They look all right and they look fine. I think they'll be all right.
They could well be, yeah. They've got potential to just drop off.
Yeah.
Like, if they go through a dodgy run of fixtures, they've got potential to drop off. But I don't think to the point where they're going to be struggling in relegation positions. But we are only 3 games in, so anything can happen.
Exactly. No,
Palace have obviously started very well, as of Everton. Everton could drop off. But I think Everton have got obviously a lot more quality than Palace, but a lot more quality than they have in previous seasons, and a better manager.
Yeah, definitely.
Giving Ancelotti a whole season with this squad, as we've said, James Rodriguez just running the game, Calvert-Lewin is still scoring, Richarlison scoring as well. Admittedly, it was a penalty, but he does look a goal threat. And we'll talk about sort of the games they're going on to play. But yeah, I can see Everton carrying on this good run of form.
Yeah.
Let's move on to bit of a wild one. This at the Hawthorn. West Brom hosted Chelsea, and it was a 3-3 draw, but that doesn't reflect the game at all because West Brom was 3-0 up in the first half in this game. 3-0 up in half an hour.
Yeah.
2 goals from Robinson, is it?
Robinson.
Yeah, and 1 goal from Kyle Bartley.
Kyle Bartley, well played.
He's not Premier League standard, but fair play to him for getting a goal against Chelsea, who were shocking in that first half.
They were very cool.
Thiago Silva on his Premier League debut, he was terrible. He was really not. He made up for it a little bit in the second half when Azpilicueta came on and he was the captain. He looked a bit ropes, but the whole of the Chelsea team looked ropey. They were just torn apart. They made Robinson look like he was world class, which he's obviously not.
Yeah.
But at 3-0 at half time, you're still thinking Chelsea could get back into this because A, it's West Brom, and B, well, it's Chelsea. So, they've always got a way to get back into it because they've got such a talented squad. But yeah, no, I just find it funny that the 3 players that dragged Chelsea back into it were Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, and Tammy Abraham. All youth academy players, after spending the money that they have in this window, they got back into it in the end thanks to Tammy Abraham tapping in the last minute. Right place at the right time, that sort of thing. Also, Chelsea fans saying this link-up play between Callum Hudson-Odoi and Kai Havertz.
It's a 1-2.
2 generational talents.
It's so don't get me wrong, it's a good goal. It's a 1-2. You see that on Sunday League.
Oh, you learn it in under 6s. Seriously, I do think they're overreacting with that. But fair play, Havertz didn't have a terrible game. He got back into it in the second half. He looked very good. Werner looked a bit off the pace. It was his turn to look a bit off the pace. Good of me to captain him.
Still yet to get a goal as well. Still yet to get a goal for Chelsea.
He still is young. I thought it was the game was his first goal, but he didn't. That is worrying. That certainly is. I'm sure he'll get one. 3-0, entertaining encounter. I did think Chelsea were going to get back in it. Because they got that goal early on in the second half, and I thought, wow, okay, Chelsea back. But the West Brom sort of halted them, and they got a point out of it. Which, if you give West Brom a point at the start of this game, after their start, they'd have bitten your hand off. If you told them they'd be 3-0 up after half an hour and they still don't end up getting 3 points, a little bit peeved off. But it's all right. Anything else to say on that game?
Chelsea. Chelsea is just one of those teams where average players score against. For example, this is Callum Robinson has scored 3 goals in the Premier League in his career. All of them are against Chelsea. David McGoldrick has scored 1 goal in the Premier League. That was against Chelsea. They just seem to be the team that everyone scores their first goal against.
They really do.
Dodgy defence.
It really, leaky defence. I'm not convinced of that for that. I guess we'll see. Let's move on to a game that we're only going to gloss over. Burnley Southampton. Burnley losing 1-0 in the end. Just a standard game. Southampton, I mean, they could surprise teams this year in terms of coming top half, but a standard 1-0 win. Really, thoughts on this one?
I thought Southampton had a good game. I know it's against Burnley. I know they're their defence as dodgy with Dunn and Long, but
It really is.
it's a good performance. They only beat 1-0, but it's a promising win. It's a win. That's good, and of course Danny Ings getting the goal. But yeah, decent performance and the win for Southampton. But Burnley, my friend who's a Burnley fan thinks they're in trouble.
Really?
He thinks they could go down if they don't get this situation with Long and Dunn sorted out soon.
Yeah, it does seem like we're saying this every year, but that's a Burnley fan saying it, so that's a little bit worrying. It doesn't seem like Burnley don't have the quality. Will they go down? I think, if I'm honest,
they have that grit and determination.
Yeah, they do.
Tarkowski
and me come back. Hopefully, Tarkowski gets stalled.
Yeah, Leicester.
That's a major problem.
They've rejected a 30 million bids.
Yeah, they're off to 50, aren't they? So it's. I'm not sure they're going to get that. I can't imagine when you get that £50 million in. I can't imagine Burnley spending £50 million on a player once they get that £50 million in.
It'll be £5 million on a Championship centre back.
It'll be £5 million on 10 players. That'll be how it operates. They'll probably buy back Jeff Hendrick or something. They'll just make some really bizarre signings which just somehow work. Overall, losing 1-0 to Southampton, Danny Ings scoring as soon as taking him up fantasy team for Timo Werner. Solid pick. Let's move on to the Sunday fixtures. The earlier game on this Sunday was Sheffield United against Leeds, and Leeds getting a late winner, winning 1-0 at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United were the better team for much of this game, if I'm perfectly honest. They weren't creating an awful lot going forward, but they dominated a lot of the ball. And Meslier in goal was fantastic. He made a brilliant save. He got man of the match, I think, in the end because he was unbelievable. That's the first I've seen of him properly, and he looked very, very good. Patrick Bamford.
Oh man,
scoring with about 5 minutes left of normal time. Cross put in from, I think it was the cross the ball into the far post, and Bamford sort of nodded back across goal. And if he keeps scoring, we're going to look like right Wallies. I know I said this last week, but we really are. If Bamford does get to 15 goals, which he's obviously on track to be doing so far, I mean, he's looking good. The issue is because in the Championship, he got these chances, and the rest of his play was very good. He just wasn't finishing the chances. Suddenly in the Premier League, he's finishing these chances, and he's making people eat their words, including us. Overall, Leeds actually lucky to come out with a 1-0 win, if I'm perfectly honest. Rodrigo subbed on and then back off again. Not sure if that was injury-based, because he walked off perfectly fine. Didn't look too happy. But I want to think it's injury-based. I know Bielsa's cutthroat, but bloody hell. If he's Bruno Rodrigo and just hauling him off, he's not Duncan Ferguson.
It's not a boo,
Yes. Honestly, he's just that would be horrible. But I don't think it was, because he didn't actually have a terrible game, Rodrigo. Sheffield United, as soon as they chucked on Billy Sharp and Oliver McBurney, actually looked a lot better.
Surprising, really.
As soon as they chuck on two attackers that aren't Berg. As soon as they chuck on their only two recognisable strikers, they started to look good. And Leeds rode it out in the end. A couple of very good chances for Sheffield United, who are missing O'Connell and Egan in this game, so they're always going to struggle defensively. This is the longest streak that Wilder's gone on losing with Sheffield United, which is testament to how well he's done. Because they're by no means, I would say, in turmoil or major trouble. Not. It's just a cause for concern, and they haven't won yet.
I think they need a creative midfielder. I think they're lacking it. I mean, they're relying a lot on creativity from their wing backs, and I think they need another player midfield who can work hard but also create. I think they're lacking that.
It certainly would help them because they certainly are lacking a goal threat as well. So that's the issue. They would create that. Let's move on from the Sheffield United game to another controversial game. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs drawing 1-1 with Newcastle. What were your thoughts on this one?
Tottenham just kind of dominated. It was a Steve Bruce masterclass. No, it really was. Newcastle were rubbish. Like they weren't even in the game. Spurs should have wrapped this game up. They really should have battered them. How I can't get my head around this. How it was. They were just so close to winning, and then just a little who's it? Dyer, he just punched the ball. Dyer, Handball, and then Callum Wilson put away the penalty. What were your thoughts on that incident?
So the incident, I mean, obviously Spurs dominated the game, as you say. Newcastle barely had a sniff. The only shots on target they've had this season have been goals. So Steve Bruce, conversion rate, I love to see it. The incident itself, I've looked at it, and initially I thought it was a handball, just because of my anti-Spurs bias, because I was like, this is hilarious. Jack, our housemate's a Spurs fan, and he was going absolutely ballistic at the screen. It was quite funny. And yeah, Callum Wilson put away the penalty. I don't think it was handball.
Really?
I don't think unintentional handball should be given as handballs. And that was massively unintentional. I know his arm is away from his body, but ask anyone that goes up for a header or jumps.
Yeah.
Your arms, you need your arms. I think, I've looked at it since, and initially I was of the view that this is handball because his arm's out. But I've looked at it, he's not looking at the ball, right? And his arm is in what you could call a natural position for a header. If you're going up, your arm, no one goes up and jumps like that. Who's jumping up for a header like that? No one's pencil jumping. You'd fall over and break your arms. I've found out on many occasions. I don't think it's handball. And I think this handball rule it's caused such an uproar. But it can't be right. I mean, no one's reacting to that rule if they think it's right. No one's reacting saying this is killing the game.
Yeah.
Andros Townsend was reacting to it. I know he's ex-Spurs, but
Ryan Mason.
just random people. Greg Rutherford. I mean, he was the one that was saying you jump and you use your arms. I have been my whole career. I don't think it's handball. What's your view on it? Because I'm quite intrigued.
It's an interesting one. It is the rule. So under the laws,
law, but yeah, we're discussing whether the law's right here because the decision was right. Now we're discussing
I'm not sure
what we think of the law.
I think they've gone too quickly from what is handball. Like, they've changed the rule too drastically. And if they were going to go to this, they should have what the Bundesliga has done and gone over a period of time, changed the rule. So less people get annoyed. And it's kind of a gradual process, So IFAB have messed this up, I think. And I took everyone has a different body, like everyone's body reacts differently to different situations. So jumping.
So it's down to interpretation.
Exactly. And is it deliberate handball? No. I doubt he's just going like that.
Yeah, he's not in the last minute. Andy Carroll said cross goal. He's not elbowing it back, is he?
Yeah, exactly. It's not deliberate, but I don't understand why they're trying to define deliberate. Like, you can't define deliberate. Everyone's deliberate is a different thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a debate for a whole podcast.
It really is. Yeah, I'm not agreeing with the view that we should just put up with it at all, because you shouldn't just put up with rules. I know we've gone through a lot of rule changes, but you have to get it right. The view that we just have to put up with it is, I think, is just submitting to, okay, that's the rule. It's ruining. It's not like it's, every now and then it's not been great. It is a rule that has been a massive problem this season, and we're 3 games in. That is a problem. And I don't think we can just look over it and be like, oh, that's the rule, that's it.
But I feel like we would have always got to this stage where this is the rule, but we'd have done it over a longer process of time where people would have been filtered in, as I said earlier. So what would we do? Would we go back to try and filter it in and then get to the rule eventually?
If you want to get to this rule, and you can't just throw it straight in. I'm not even a fan of getting to this rule anyway.
What's the point then of just going back and doing it again? Because we're going to get to this stage anyway.
Because you'll get the right decisions, and gradually it'll be better. It'll be better for the Premier League if you're going back to a point where less penalties are being given for stupid handballs like this. I'm of the opinion that you need to filter it in if you're going to prioritise filtering a rule in like this. And I don't mind if the Premier League, even mid-season, right? I know they're never going to do it because it is mid-season. They're never going to do that. But I am of the opinion that you have to just filter a rule like this in. You can't just throw it straight in this time. But it is another debate for another time. We will have it on a state of this, and we will probably just dedicate a whole state. To be honest with you, we haven't done it this week because I'm sure there'll be many incidents that happen that are similar to this going forward. Let's move on. At the end of the day, Spurs bottled it. Let's move on.
Pretty much.
That's how we can analyse this game. Let's move on to the next game on the Sunday, which was Man City against Leicester. A 7-goal thriller in which City lost 5-2 to Leicester. A Vardy hat-trick. And City went 1-0 up through a bullet from Mahrez, and I was like, okay, City are back, feeling pretty bright on the ball. And then they didn't. Yeah. And then they just stopped playing it, and then they had to defend. And that was a real issue, as I'm going to talk about a little bit later. What were your thoughts on this one?
It's weird because Mahrez scored that goal. Absolutely scream of fair play to him, put Man City in the lead. And Man City were all over Leicester, but then suddenly Leicester get a penalty. Vardy converts, of course it was Vardy. And then suddenly it just switches. And suddenly it's all Leicester, and Man City just failed to make their dominance count, and they only got one goal from it, which came from a piece of brilliance. It wasn't even if it came from that dominance of possession. But yeah, then Vardy just started putting away penalties like nobody's business. Maddison then came on. That was a screamer. Really good goal.
Yeah.
Ake got one back, but then another Tielemans penalty. I mean, Leicester are just great, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Man City though, their defence is very bad.
It really is.
How?
I don't know. But do you reckon Vardy's dropping off at any point? Do you reckon Vardy's dropping off at all?
It's been 3 games. It's been 3 games.
That's been 3 games in which we've already relegated Fulham. We have to change the entirety of the handball rule, and they're still winning the league.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise that this season there'd be more penalties than there ever was in the Premier League. No. So of course he's going to win the Golden Boot. That'll be much. Even Martin Noble might have a challenge.
Vardy on course for 40 league goals. That's right. No, Leicester were brilliant. Going forwards, they're unbelievable. City shocking. They really are. Tielemans and Pratt again, very good. Maddison coming on and showing why he's still a very good player. And they were just very good. Vardy was brilliant. Harvey Barnes was brilliant. Overall, I just like Leicester a lot. I think they're very good. And City, they're in trouble. I think. I think they are in some form of trouble unless they're bringing Ruben Diaz in. But will he solve all the defensive problems? Well, he might do. You don't know.
He might do, but I don't think he will.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll go on to talk about that. He may or may not be in the state of this. Let's move on to the last game of the Sunday, which is a bit of a turn-up for the books. The Sunday produced some strange results, especially the last 2. As we spoke about Leicester beating Man City, and now we've got Wolves going to the London Stadium and losing 4-0 to West Ham, which is just frankly bizarre, right? Wolves are terrible, don't get me wrong, but let's not take anything away from West Ham.
Yeah, fantastic.
They were very, very good. Fornals had an excellent game.
So did Masuaki.
Masuaki was as a wing back. He has to do less defending, which he's not very good at anyway, but for some reason played well this game defensively. Pocketed Adama, if I might say so myself.
Yeah, he does.
And then on the ball, he's so good. The issue with Masuaki is he's never been bad on the ball. It's just he can't defend. Suddenly, you put him in a wing-back position and he has to do far less defending. And he's able to be on the ball more, and I really like it. Allaire coming on and getting a goal, very good for his confidence. It's weird as soon as he gets some service, he scores. A bit strange that, I don't really get how that works. They were just very good. Antonio was just bully up top. He bullied that Wolves defence. And Wolves didn't really turn up, I don't think. I don't think they were good enough.
Yeah. Maybe this is the first time they've played this 3-4-3 formation this season, was it? Maybe this is the way forward for them because they look very good in it.
Really
I mean, Souček and Rice on the pivot were decent. As you said, the wing backs were good. Fredericks was incredible.
Incredible was a
shot. No, I was joking. Fredericks, the wing backs were good. Fredericks was good, and then
decent.
Johnson played well. Was it Johnson? Yeah. When he came on here, Bowen, it's just good.
That was brilliant. He was very good. His finish was done really well. I think they go down.
You still think they're going down?
I think it's the one-off.
MC Moyes, mate, he's in the business.
They've got Leicester next week. I think they get mauled.
But you thought that against Wolves?
Yeah, I did, and they turned up, and I don't think they'll turn up.
They beat them 4-0.
Yeah, we did.
They kept a clean sheet against Jimenez, Neto, and Adama.
They were all terrible.
Yeah.
None of the players turned up. Oh yeah. See what he did there. Yeah, he got an goal. Let's move on to the Monday games because I think we're going down.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to introduce this?
No, go for it.
Fulham.
No.
What do you mean no? That's 3-0 to Villa.
No.
What happened? Other than Tony Carr's Twitter rant, what happened?
Basically what happened was I walked into a pub and I looked up a Grealish had scored. I don't know really what happened. But yeah, we lost 3-0. It wasn't ideal. I don't really know what to say. We were terrible. I mean, I don't know. First of all, right, Parker is the right man for the job, but I'm not really sure what he was thinking with a 3-4-3. Actually, no, I do understand. We're terrible defensively, so just throw more defenders in. It didn't really work. I'm not really sure Kenny and Anguissa on the pivot was ever going to be the best duo. But to be fair, we showed fight throughout the game. The thing is, under Parker, right, never before have we been losing in a game and actually kept fighting. We haven't looked like that for years. But we're very bad. You're laughing. It's not ideal. I'm really mad, to be quite honest. Very angry.
You're going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's be level-headed about this. It's one loss, but it's so
Villa.
bad. It's to a relegation rival, which, as you said, is a 6 point. It's a 6 pointer this early in the season. You don't want to be losing that 3-0 very convincingly. Grealish getting the goal early on. Your defence was carved open. You hadn't woken up. You didn't start. Second goal was the second goal. Mings or Hurahan? Hurahan, the man that. Yeah. Okay.
The man who's not good enough for Villa and doesn't have a right foot, but scored with his right foot and
he hasn't scored since Boxing Day. He scored, and so Tyrone Mings, which I really liked because he's not very good, but on his day he's actually not too bad. He's playing against you, he looked very good. My fantasy Premier League pick was very good. Yeah, because Martinez kept a clean sheet despite doesn't matter though. Doesn't matter. He had. Can I just put? I know it got disallowed. He was fantastic. Yeah. Apart from the goal which was disallowed, which I don't think should have been disallowed because I think there was. I think refs basically right. If VAR right say look at the screen, but I think refs should. They're still making the decision, but I think every time a ref gets told go look to the screen, they'll change their mind. Even if they think it's not a foul, they'll be like, "Oh, someone in my ear said, look at the screen, so it's probably wrong." He's getting a second opinion from another referee. Yeah, but he's not getting a second opinion because he doesn't give their opinion. No, but he's being told to look at the screen, so that's almost implying. No, but at the same day, it's not their opinion still. No, it's not. But it should be on their opinion. If they look at a screen and they still think, fair enough if he thought there was a foul looking at it, fair enough. But if he's looked at the screen and thought, I wouldn't have given it, but he obviously thinks. Then he shouldn't have given it because it's his decision. But surely he's also thought his decision as well, because the guy in the VAR room is going to influence his decision somewhat. That's what we're agreeing on here, yeah? The guy in the VAR room is, without outwardly giving his opinion, saying... No, he did in one game this week. Oh, yeah, he did, yeah. Without normally giving his opinion, is giving an opinion. He's giving the view that you need to look at that again, implying... You might have got something wrong here. Might, though. Yeah, might. But if there's any doubt over it, a referee's going to go and look at it, and his view of it is going to be tainted by that, surely. Yeah, maybe. I don't think it was the wrong decision, personally. I think there was contact there, and he was stupid for it, if I'm perfectly honest. Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, Mitrovic scored loads of goals this game. Yeah, shut up. Martinez conceded so many. Yeah, Mitrovic, also said, is also a long-term pick. For the next few games. And this is going to be harsh, but I think it was an Areola goalkeeping disaster. That's the harshest opinion. Right, first goal he should have done better, and third goal he should have done better. He should have put it on. He should have saved it. Really? Yes. I'm sorry, you can't so at first I think he should have come off his line, but then I realised I was being stupid, and he should definitely have come off his line. But his body position for that was absolutely woeful. Yeah. He needs to come out and he didn't make himself big. If anything, he made himself small and made an easier target. It was from a tight angle as well. He has to a top goalkeeper should be saving that. So we're not blaming the defence. No, of course it's the defence's fault, but he should still save it. And the third goal. Again, defence's fault. However, what is he doing? He's doesn't know where he is. I think he had a better defensive program. Yeah, better as he has. Yeah, he probably is. Every other club he's been at. Yeah, Real Madrid. Yeah, Real Madrid and PSG. Yeah. That's slightly better defensive. Slightly. But let's move on. I'm aware we've talked about the Fulham game for a while, but you do need to talk about as you will do in a minute. Let's move on to the last game of the Monday, because you roast me a little bit. We lost 3-1 to Liverpool despite going 1-0 up. That's terrible. Yeah, God. You lost to the best team in the league. Yeah, we'd beaten them twice before this under Arteta, and I could just see us losing this game. Yeah. They dominated us start to finish. If you're saying that Mane should have been sent off, you're delusional. If I'm perfectly honest, there was no malice in it. It's a push away. At worst, it's a yellow card. It was a yellow card, wasn't it? Did he give a yellow card? I'm pretty sure he did. Okay, I can't really remember. I think he gave him a yellow card. I've seen all the Twitter Karens being like, I'm getting a bit. Karens. Karens have made their way to Twitter, I'm telling you. Anyway, we went 1-0 up. I have absolutely no idea to this day, well, not to this day, yesterday, to this minute, how that happened. Well, obviously we scored. Thanks, Sam. But the ball came in, Robertson played it through to Lacazette, and Lacazette just scuffed the ball over Alisson. No, it was intentional. Obviously intentional. We were getting absolutely battered at this point. We were somehow 1-0 up, and I was like, we are not winning this game. No. Made their way back in the game, and then Andy Robertson scored at the right end, so it was 2-1. And we didn't deserve to
Then
get that
Jota
game.
scored after
Then
his
Jota
third attempt.
He did, yeah, no. I wouldn't say it was a terrible performance from us. I mean, they carved us open, but it's Liverpool. They carve everyone open.
Yeah.
We can't be expecting to beat Liverpool literally every time we play them. We're still a team in progress. I've maintained that throughout. We're still a team in progress. We're getting our. It's all good. It's fine. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. We come third, right?
To be fair, right, you lost to the team I think would come second, so implying that I would have thought that Liverpool would have beaten you.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't think it's disastrous at all. We've got a very tricky run from here on in, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on.
Just win all of them, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. That is now the Premier League games for this extended weekend. Let's go on to our EFL Watch. I'm going to review the EFL Watch. If you haven't seen before, you probably have. You may not have. We review one game from the whole of the EFL, and then we preview one of the games from the EFL each. So it covers the majority of the league. I'm not sure if we covered League 2 this week, but
no, we're not.
We're not. We're covering League 1 and the Championship. Sorry, League 2, you've missed out this time. Promise we'll get back in next week. Let's review. I'll review the first game. Why not?
Do it. Go for it.
I'm reviewing Huddersfield Nottingham Forest.
Oh, it was a cracker.
Stonker. 1-0 win to Huddersfield. On the face of it, it looks like a real barnstormer of a game. But yeah, it was an interesting game because Hogg just turned into Karate Kid. He just decided to try and kill Harry Arter. There is a bit of history between those two. Last time they played for each other, but Harry Arter, new signing for Nottingham Forest, his first game in the lineup, and 10 minutes in, he just gets absolutely clamped. I have no idea how it wasn't a red card. It was a shocking tackle.
It was terrible.
Given a yellow in the end. And yeah, Harry Arter not off to the best starts for Nottingham Forest. As Nottingham Forest are off to the best starts. Their poor start continues. Despite all these new signings that they've made, they're still not very good. And they play Bristol City this weekend. And I do worry about them. Because I think Bristol City are going to tear them open. But yeah, overall, it was more for the challenge and an excuse to say how poor Nottingham Forest have been, not necessarily the game itself.
Well, incredible Fraser Campbell goal.
Fraser Campbell still exists and scores.
It's actually a really good goal as well.
Yeah, no, he's still knocking about, and fair play to him because he scored against Nottingham Forest. So
terrible.
They really are.
And Lemaitrie's going to get sacked.
He should have been sacked the last season, I think. But yeah, anyway, yeah, a bit harsh, but we moved.
I wouldn't have.
Would you not?
No, I'd have given him time and then I'd sacked him after the last game.
Fair enough. Yeah, what game are you reviewing?
Swindon Town versus Burton Albion. Yeah, it was actually a bit of a cracker in League One. Both teams came into the game on a level points, so it was always going to be tight, but it wasn't. So yeah, Swindon went 3-0 up relatively quickly. Stevens, Pittman, Boundary getting the goals. Then Stephen Quinn. What a
blast from the past.
What a blast from the past. Yeah, got one back for Burton. I've no idea how he's still playing football.
Play for Hull.
Not Burnley, and Reading as well.
Yeah, Reading. That was Reading.
He was at Hull as well, I think. Though.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
sorry,
really weird. No, it's fine. And then Smith put Swindon 4-2 up. 4-1 up. A nice generic name. And then Aikens got a late goal for Burton, but it was all over. And then this game moved Swindon into the playoffs, and Burton down to 15th. But yeah, interesting if Swindon can make that push for promotion.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. That'd be a bit mad. Coming straight up from League 2 and
try
and get right in the next
I doubt
season.
they will, to be honest. It's 3 games in. Need to not get ahead of ourselves.
Calm down. Let's move on to the games we're going to preview. I'm going to preview a game from League 1. I'm dipping into League 1 for this one. Wigan, they host Doncaster. 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. I don't know what you're thinking. It's a true glamour style. This is like a Madrid derby or the PSG against someone good. It's not. It's Wigan against Doncaster at the end of the day. And Wigan won their first game of the season against a struggling Pompey. And I'm happy they won that game because they needed their first points in League 1 because they're going to struggle to get to it just because of the financial constraints they've been under. But now they take on promotion hopefuls Doncaster, who look very good, and I think they're going to get battered. That's why I'm previewing it, because I think it'll be interesting to see if Wigan can kick on from winning their first game of the Championship against not in the Championship, against League 1, against a team who should be better than they are, but Portsmouth started terribly. I reckon it'll be a high-scoring game. I'm going to put the knockers on early. There'll be a high-scoring game. I reckon Doncaster will beat them quite convincingly, but I reckon Wigan will put up a fight.
Yeah, James Coppinger hat-trick.
James Coppinger hat-trick. We need to get on the podcast.
What a man.
What game are you going to be previewing?
I'm going to be previewing a game of the Championship, and it's going to be Reading versus Watford. And I think this is going to be a very interesting game. It's second versus fifth. Surprisingly, it's Reading in second, which I never thought I'd say. Reading so far beaten Derby, Barnsley, and Cardiff. Cardiff I thought would be up there with their playoff contention, but they've started great. Pretty poorly. And then Watford have been so boring so far. They beat Middlesbrough 1-0. They drew 0-0 to Sheffield Wednesday, and then they beat Luton 1-0. So they're not conceding, but they're not scoring, despite the fact they probably have the best attack the Championship's ever seen in their lives, which is quite confusing. But yeah, it'll just be a very interesting game because Reading. I'll mention something about them later, but yeah, they're just pretty good. But Watford's team, I'm sorry, it's just got loads of Brazilian wonder kids, and it's just so good. They still have Sarr. They have so many. How are they beating Luton 1-0? How are they draw? I do not understand how they've scored 2 goals in 3 games. Genuinely, their attack is like a football manager show. Really is.
Yeah, it's true.
I've no idea. But yeah, question marks over their new manager, so we'll have to see if, because he's got to be scoring more. But maybe they'll just get loads of 1-0s and win the league. But yeah,
maybe it is.
Who knows?
Right, that is our EFL Watch.
It is.
Let's move on to the old favourite, the state of this, as we both pick 2 things that we think are a bit of a state each. One's normally good, one's normally bad, but we're not constraining ourselves to that. But this first one's pretty bad because it's City's defence. And this has only been brought, obviously it's a hot topic and has been for quite a while, but I'm only bringing it up now because they're spending £65 million on another defender, which brings the total spending since Guardiola has joined the club on defenders up to £410 million.
Yeah.
And their defence is still very, very suspect. 65 million on Diaz, right? I'll just run you through the others. So we got 58.5 million on João Cancelo, who seems like he's been forgotten about. Aymeric Laporte, 58 million, same amount as João Cancelo. He's probably the best out of the bunch. He's a very good defender.
He's probably actually a bargain, which is quite weird.
Yeah, which is strange to say. Yeah. Benjamin Mendy, 52 million. That's definitely not a bargain because he's an absolute car horse.
52p
maybe, yeah. 52p in a packet of Quavers. About what I'd probably spend on Benjamin Mendy. He's very, very bad. John Stones, 50 million. Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to be good. He's still not. Kyle Walker, £47 million, isn't the worst bit of business in the world. I'm actually a bit of a Kyle Walker fan.
He loves Kyle Walker.
Yeah, he really does.
Cancelo doesn't get him.
41 million on Ake. We still need to wait and see, but it's still a lot of money on the defender from Bournemouth. Danilo, 27 million, and Angelino, 11 million, who actually is not the best bit of business, even though they've lost him, which is bizarre because he's actually very good, Angelino. Their spending on defenders has just gone so far. And they're still so poor defensively. Yeah. They finally got rid of Otamendi, and thank the heavens, because he was awful. And hopefully this Diaz lad will come in and be semi-decent and shoring up something in the defence. But I'm not really sure, because if I'm perfect honest, I haven't seen an awful lot. So I don't think I can judge an awful lot of him. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. But yeah, it is obscene the amount they spend on defence. It is obscene how bad they are defensively, despite spending this much on defenders. I think I just don't like it. I don't like it.
Neither do I. Their spend is crazy. I mean, 65 million on Diaz. I've never seen him play really. I've seen him a few times. What people are saying is different things. Some people say it's great. Some people say it's not. 65 million on a player who's not. They need someone to experience to shore up their defence.
Yeah.
Or Koundé, and they didn't get either of them. But their spend on defending is a disgrace. I mean, Mendy for 50 million is a honest joke, really, and 60 million on a player that's be back up to Kyle Walker. I mean, it's not ideal. Guardiola coaching also comes into it though. Yeah. I think Guardiola gets away with it, and that defence is a scapegoat, and it's not his coaching. It's just that they're bad players. But I genuinely think you can't have that bad a defence. You can if you're that good a coach, you can coach that defence, and part of it to blame is his coaching, because a lot of those players before they joined City were great, and they've just got worse. So some of the blame is on Guardiola. So stop sugarcoating it.
It's a fair point. It is. What's your state of this?
It's the Twitter warrior himself. God, it's Tony Khan. No, I actually don't mind Tony Khan. I love him. He loves the club, right? He's trying his best. Fulham fans, stop abusing him. But the problem is...
Do you agree with this Twitter rant, though?
No, he needs to stop replying to tweets. He's a bit of a child, really, in the fact that he does reply to every tweet, and it's... the thing is, I get his point. He words it terribly. He makes good points, but the way he words it, he is going to come under fire. Because he basically just told everyone our transfer policy over Twitter, which I'm not really sure on. But to be fair, we were. I mean, I never realised how unlucky we were, to be honest. Two centre backs were about to sign got COVID.
Yeah.
One of them had complications, and the other one we were about to sign a free, and then he went to Chelsea. Cheers, Saul. Not saying I really want him, but anyone's better than whoever at the moment. But yeah, he's just. His rants are so frustrating. Like he said he'd prefer us to be a yo-yo club than just be 20th in the championship, which is true. But yeah, probably not the way to word it. But
almost ambitious, isn't it?
No, but Scott Parker isn't happy with it either. He said in his press conference today, it's not something I agree with. It's not something that's helpful. The one thing I'm disappointed with is that he apologised for the performance, which he did. The other bit is what it is. He's not happy, Bunny. Tony Khan, I like him. Fans need to stop criticising him, but get off Twitter, mate. You can post one thing after a game, fine. Stop replying to everyone. Try and defend yourself. Just stop.
Yeah, he is a bit of a keyboard warrior, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't be happy if was he chief of football, is he?
Yeah, he's director
of football. I wouldn't be massively happy if he was on Twitter just exposing a whole transfer policy to the whole of the Twitter world. Because obviously you need a centre-half, but he didn't need him to spell it out on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that personally. But I do like his passion for the club.
I like it.
Yeah. He seems like a likeable bloke.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the more positive side of the state of this. And I'm going to move on to Burger King FC themselves, Stevenage. Wow. Their Burger King sponsorship is brilliant, right? It only recently came out how well it's done for them. So basically, they focused on getting the club massive on FIFA, which is a bit of a weird one, but it worked really well for them because what they got people to do is start a career mode with Stevenage, which after this campaign happened, it came out that Stevenage were the most used team on the whole of career mode for 2020. Which is unbelievable. And what they did to encourage players to be Stevenage is score some insane goals with some insane players for Stevenage, upload it to Twitter, and you can win some food prize from Burger King. Seems all pretty good. And it worked a dream for them. Yeah. They sold out their kit on their website for the first time in their club's history, which is ridiculous. They tried a similar thing with Malaga, I think it was. Or was it Getafe? I think it was Getafe. About 10 years back, it didn't really work. But now, it's worked. An absolute dream. Stevenage make an absolute bank off of it. Burger King doing really well out of it. I mean, everyone knows who Burger King are. Anyway,
Love Burger King.
Yeah, Burger King's brilliant. But it's got people talking. And it's got people uploading videos of like Lionel Messi scoring a wonder goal for Stevenage against, like, I don't know, Luton or something, like when they've got to the championship. It's just, I think, a random club. Sorry, Luton. But yeah, I just really like it. And I think it's really nice. And yeah, that makes it's a really nice story to look at. Because Stevenage, they struggled. They struggled. Yeah. They should have realistically gone down if it wasn't for Macclesfield. They would have gone down if it wasn't for Macclesfield.
They would have.
But Macclesfield's financial troubles didn't help them. And Stevenage stayed up. And yeah, big up Burger King. I'm a really big fan of it. I love Burger King. I now like Stevenage. I like it all. It's a really nice mix. Yeah, I'm really happy.
They're probably going down.
Yeah, they probably are, but this is the most used team on career mode.
Exactly. For last year's game.
Yeah, for last year's game. They might be this year too. Who knows?
Every colour's a silver lining.
Exactly. What's our final?
I'm moving on to Reading's shot accuracy. What a niche.
That's a real niche.
Yeah. But no, Reading are really good at shooting. I never thought I'd say this. They're like probably the best. They're the best team at Europe at shooting, in fact. So this is a crazy stat. But Reading have a 70% shot accuracy, which is mental. Which is the highest in Europe. 14 out of their last 20 shots have been on target, which is crazy. The next best in Europe. In Europe's top 5 leagues is Atletico Madrid with 59%. So it's still 11% less. And they have Diego Costa, João Felix, and Luis Suarez up front. I mean, we now know that the Lucas João at Reading is better than the João Felix
at
Atletico Madrid. Will they keep this up? 100% they won't. However, it's a crazy stat 3 weeks in, and Reading you're surprising everyone. No one thought you'd be where you are. So up the. Actually, no, I don't like Reading. Just keep here.
That's a real segue. Fair enough. I'll re-rate them. Yeah, that's really good. Good on Reading. Good shot accuracy, Reading. Well done. Let's move on from Reading shot accuracy to our FPL Essentials. If you haven't seen it before, this is the section of the podcast in which we both pick a player for your fantasy league that you need to have in your team. And I'm going to kick us off. You need to have Harvey Barnes in your team. You really do. I love you agreeing with me this week. It's brilliant. We were completely contrasting last week. Barnes. And it went really well for you. And it's, he's only 7 million, which is far less than Kai Havertz, who's starting pretty poorly. And they're home against West Ham, right? And just a little flex, I'm going to be there. And going to be at the game, so that's going to be good. Move on. The last appearance at home, he got a goal and assist against Burnley in a 4-2 win, and he racked up 13 points. And I think he'll do the same again against West Ham, who historically have struggled defensively. I know they just locked up a double Traore around Jimenez and around Nesta, but it's fine. It's fine. I reckon. Is it fine? I think it's promise. No, it's an early kickoff on a Sunday. It's always a bit of a weird one, the early kickoff on a Sunday.
It's always 0-0.
Yeah, no. This one wasn't. It was 1-0 today. So I reckon Harvey Barnes will tear West Ham to pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it happening. 7 million is a bargain. Yeah. Get him in your team. If you've already got Vardy, captain him. But if not, captain Harvey Barnes, because I think he's going to do very well. 7 million is a bargain for that man, I promise you.
Yeah, just quick little segue. Segue.
Brilliant. Segue special.
Yeah, we're doing a giveaway. I was looking on Fantasy Football the other day at the highest points. Someone triple captained Vardy against Man City. Who thought they'd triple?
To be fair, he's the highest scorer against Man City in recent years.
But that is mental. He's got 51 points.
That's insane. That's fair enough. I don't know. I think he got me 17, so I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, moving on to my pick, I've got for Raul Jimenez. They're playing Fulham at home.
We're just going to be going through whoever's playing against Fulham at home.
Or West Ham.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raul Jimenez got Fulham at home. 8.6 million isn't too bad. Fulham are terrible, to be quite honest, and they can't defend. And they have no defenders that aren't above League One level. And no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Michael Etter's magic. But yeah, Fulham can't defend. Jimenez is great, and he's scored in every game he's played, including an own goal. He's clinical. He is clinical, but genuinely put Raul Jimenez in your team will probably score 6.
Yeah, I could imagine he would. If I wasn't already on -4 points for this coming up game week, because I've made 2 changes to my team, then I would do the same. But I'm not. Right, that is it for another Full English. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to be back again, hopefully with our European show. Get sort of a name for that. I think it's going to be called European Road Show. I really like that name. So I think it's going to be called that. If it's not, you'll see. But we've got a Housey interview up, so I know this is going up straight after the Housey interview. But if you're going to pick, listen to the Housey one instead of this one, then listen to this one. Housey, then this. This is very good, all right? But the Housey ones, I like it a lot. And we want support in the interviews because we're really enjoying doing them. We've got another one coming up hopefully over the weekend or early next week. So just keep an eye. More content's coming.
Yeah, we'll try and keep more interviews coming. We love them, and you love them. So keep watching us and keep subscribing.
Please do. Thank you very much for listening, watching, consuming. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye, guys.